Power to the truth. This is Margo. This is Friday, May 17th, 2019, 8 p.m. Pacific Time, United States of America. Getting a late start because I just recorded another show about Oroville and revisiting Oroville and looking at what happened over 2 years ago to understand what's happening now. And so, if you're wanting to know about Oroville, I recommend everyone go see that show. So tonight, I'm just going to be doing earthquakes in this report tonight, since I got such a late start here. So we're looking at USGS all magnitudes for the last 24 hours. We're showing 286 earthquakes worldwide. And of those, we have 37 that are 2.5 magnitude and higher. So we're going to start with this. Okay, here's a 2.5 in the Gulf of Alaska that came in last night at 8:16. Here's a 2.5 at Puerto Rico, 2.5 Gustavus, Alaska, 3.1 Arctic Village, 2.6 Chirikov Island. Alright, so I'm going to start down here in South America and work my way around. We're going to start with this 5.0 near Iquique, Chile that happened this morning at 7:16 in the morning. These times I'm telling you are Pacific time because that's my time zone. Then there was a 5.2 near Constitucion, Chile at 10:27 last night. Then coming across the Pacific Ocean, we've got one near Tonga, a 4.5 near Nuku'alofa, Tonga at 2:09 this morning, 162 kilometers deep. Next, we had a large one, a 6.0 at Papua New Guinea near Tyrone at 3:37 this afternoon, 27 kilometers deep. When I checked earlier, there was not anything on the tsunami. No, because the last one on the tsunami was from the 14th. So there was no tsunami made from that, as far as we know. Here's a 5.0 on land near Abipura, Indonesia at 4:02 this afternoon. Here's a 4.6 near Tobelo, Indonesia at 8:18 this morning. This one was 212 kilometers deep. So that's a deeper one that could cause movement around the planet. 5.6 near Sindansari, Indonesia at 6:51 this evening. Next up here in the Andaman Sea, we see two more. Here's a 4.3 at 10:02 this morning and a 5.1 at 12:05 this afternoon. And the reporting station is Mohian, India. Next, going to stay in the Pacific Ocean, a 4.5 near Chichishima, Japan at 7 o'clock this morning, 450 kilometers deep. That was a deep one. Here we've got one just off the coast of mainland Japan, a 4.8 near Ofunato, Japan. This happened at 6:18 this evening, 77 kilometers deep. Now, trying to, here's, let's see, how far, here's Fukushima. No, that's Furukawa, sorry. Trying to find Fukushima to see how far away it is from that. Kind of having a brain fart. Not locating Fukushima right now. It's up here somewhere. Oh, here it is. It's down here, more towards the center. Always kind of have to reorient. It's right down here. So it wasn't. It's a ways off from Fukushima, but still, you know, it's showing activity there. Okay, moving on around. Now let's come on to land and get those. Here's one in China, 4.8 near Fuyu, China at 3:24 this afternoon. Next was a 4.7 near Bharatpur, Nepal at 1:23 this morning. Next was a 4.3 near Kashi, China. This is part of the Tibetan Plateau at 12:49 this afternoon. So a lot of activity right around in the China region. I think that's all of those. That's all of the international earthquakes. So let's move on into all magnitudes. Starting with Hawaii. We've got 14 here today. We've got a little cluster here. Uh-oh, you see all these diamonds? These are other events. All of those are other events. And we've seen these before, and we think it's like an underwater landslide. It could be that volcano going off underneath there. Okay, I'm going to call these off. We've got 8 right here. They're all other events. Here's a 2.0, 2.0, 1.9, 1.8, 1.9, 1.9, and a 2.1 and a 1.9. And these are around 38 to 42 feet deep. This last one was 49 feet. Kilometers deep. I'm kind of brain dead right now. Sorry. So we have those. So, and then we had 1.7 near Pahala on land, and then 2.5 and a 1.8. These are on the flank of the Kilauea volcano. And then up here by Mauna Loa, we've had a 1.7 and a 1.3 in the crater and a 2.0. And that's it for Hawaii. Mainly those other events. And I'm thinking it's some kind of slippage underneath there, or it could be a volcano going off, or a landslide, underwater landslide. Okay, now let's move over to the Caribbean. We've got 8 here today. We've got some clustering. We've got 3 right there and 2 right there. So we've got 8 here total. I'll call them off at 2.5, 2.6, 2.5, 2.5, 2.7, 2.4, 3.7, and 2.8. So those are getting up there. Those were all 2.5 and higher. Now let's move on to Alaska. And let's see, for all magnitudes, they've got 98 here today. Let's see. We've got quite a few that are 2.5 magnitude or higher. We've got 11 like that here today. So here's a 4.3 near Tanaga volcano, 2.5 Chignik, 2.6 Chirikov Island, 2.5 Larsen Bay, 2.5 Gulf of Alaska, 2.5 Gustavus, Alaska, 2.7 Haines Junction, Canada, 2.5 Talkeetna, 3.0 Talkeetna, and 3.1 and a 2.9 at Arctic Village. So we can see the magnitude is increasing here. The number of the higher magnitudes are increasing as well. Now if we go to all magnitudes, look at this. Look at this down here at Tanaga. We're having a little event here. We've got 8, including that 4.3. Then we've got a bunch of small ones, so 7 small ones. This is on, there's the volcano. It's all around it. That one little island for that volcano, Tanaga. So the rest are small ones and under. Now let's come on around this Aleutian Island chain. It's all volcanic. Here's a 0.6. Here's a minus 0.1. 1.0. Coming on around. Here's a 2.5. We saw that at Chignik Lake. 2.6 Chirikov. Alright, coming on up. Here's activity around Redoubt Volcano. It's right here. Moving up, we're seeing all these little dots in the Cook Inlet. Here's Anchorage. It's got a few there today. So we can see the movement moving out, spreading up, moving up through the state. Here's Kobuk, and look, here's a ring above Kobuk today. Normally we don't see that. Kobuk is down in the number. We've only got 8 here today. 2.4 is the largest, and the rest are in the 1s range. And then they're moving up and around in this like semicircle. 1.8 no tack, 1.6 no tack, 1.8 Kobuk, 1.7 Alakakit, New Alakakit, and so on. Then up here at Arctic Village and Koktovik, this clustering, we've got 8 here. So we're seeing more clusters as we look at things. Now let's come on down to the lower 48. So we're going to start right here in Oklahoma. We've got a 4.4 at Medford, Oklahoma at 1:33 this afternoon. and then a 2.3 same place at 2:51 this afternoon. They do a lot of oil drilling there, a lot of fracking. Next, we've only got one in Utah, 0.7 near Tree-Mountain. Yellowstone, what's going on here? We've got 9 here. Let's look. Here's a 2.1 at Cascade, Idaho. Here's 3 here at Chalice, and another one. This is considered Chalice. I'll call them off. 1.9, 1.6, 1.4, and a 0.9. Next is a 0.7 at Manhattan, 0.7 at Lincoln. We've got 2 here at Polson, Montana, 1.4 and a 0.2. So this is showing movement. This is showing that we still have things going on here. We saw that. Now coming up into the Pacific Northwest, we've got this one on the Wanda Fuca plate, 3.3, that came in at 10:08 this morning. Let's look at the real-time tremor map for this area. In the last 3 hours, they've had 2.5 hours of tremors. So it's been shaking on us the whole time. To the southwest of Salem, that's where they mainly are. In the last 12 hours, they've got 6.2 hours of tremors, so that's over half the time, same place. And in the last 24 hours, 14 hours of tremors. A few down here southwest of Eugene, but mainly up here southwest of Salem. So that area, so where those tremors are right in here. The majority of them are right here, and then a few down here. So let's see what we've got. First, we've got a 1.6 magnitude explosion near Granite Falls, Washington. Then a 1.3 magnitude at Packwood, Washington. 1.2 magnitude at Scappoose, Oregon. And a 1.2 near Mount Hood Village, Oregon. And Mount Hood is a volcano. Here's a 2.0 near La Grande, Oregon. That's one of the larger ones. And then coming down, let's look at Nevada. Okay, we've got a 1.2 at Gabbs. And then down here in southern Nevada, look at Alamo. We've got 27 here today. They're still clustering at Alamo. They're having an event. Here's a 2.7. That's probably the largest one. .7 and a 2.5. Those are the largest ones. It looks like the rest are ones and under. Now let's come on over to California. Let's look at this east side. Here's Mammoth Lakes and the Long Valley Caldera area. There are 10 here today. They're ones and under, it looks like. .8 near Goldfield. Here's the Coso Junction region. We're seeing 12 here today. 1.8 is the highest. Coming on around. Here's a 1.0 Tehachapi. 1.3 magnitude Quarry Blast Tehachapi. 1.5 Fraser Perk. Okay, in Southern California we're seeing 20 here today. So the number of quakes has gone way down. And they're all under 2.5 magnitude here. So for whatever reason, we're seeing fewer now here today. We already saw that. So this come up this San Andreas fault line. Here's a 1.1 Park Field. 1.1 Park Field. 2.0 Cantua Creek. 1.1 Gilroy. 1.8 Interlaken, or Interlaken, however you say it. And here at the geysers we have 44 here today, including this 2.1 near Hidden Valley. That's close enough to call it at the geysers. So let's see if any of these are... Nope, they're all under 2.5 magnitude. So that's an uptick in the number, definitely. So these are under 2s mainly. So here's a 1.8 at Lake Pillsbury and a 1.9 at Redwood Valley. So we'll zoom out and see if there's anything else that came in that we need to look at. No, we've covered all of those. So I'd like to share a reading from the Bible again tonight. I like to bring the focus back now to spiritual things because, you know, we're in the end times and we're seeing all these catastrophes and earthquakes. We're tracking those, tracking extreme weather, climate change, methane, I mean all this stuff. And then we can really get bogged down with it and we can really get distracted. So I'm going to start sharing a Bible, some Bible reading at the end of all the shows now. I'm going to be reading from Ecclesiastes chapter 3. And people are familiar with this one. But I don't know if they've heard the whole chapter, so I thought I'd just share it tonight. To everything there's a season, and a time to every purpose under the heaven, a time to be born and a time to die, a time to plant and a time to pluck up that which is planted, a time to kill and a time to heal, a time to break down and a time to build up, a time to weep and a time to laugh, a time to mourn and a time to dance, a time to cast away stones and a time to gather stones together, a time to embrace and a time to refrain from embracing, a time to get and a time to lose, a time to keep and a time to cast away, a time to rend and a time to sow, a time to keep silence and a time to speak, a time to love and a time to hate, a time of war and a time of peace. What profit hath he that worketh in that wherein he laboureth? I have seen the travail which God hath given to the sons of men to be exercised in it. He hath made everything beautiful in his time. Also he hath set the world in their heart, so that no man can find out the work that God maketh from the beginning to the end. I know that there is no good in them, but for a man to rejoice and to do good in his life, and also that every man should eat and drink and enjoy the good of all his labor. It is the gift of God. I know that whatsoever God doeth, it shall be forever. Nothing can be put to it, nor anything taken from it, and God doeth it, that men should fear before him. That which hath been is now, and that which is to be hath already been, and God requireth that which is past. And moreover I saw under the sun the place of judgment, that wickedness was there, and the place of righteousness, that iniquity was there. I said in my heart, God shall judge the righteous and the wicked, for there is a time there for every purpose and for every work. I said in my heart concerning the estate of the sons of men, that God might manifest them, and that they might see that they themselves are beasts. For that which befalleth the sons of men befalleth beasts. Even one thing befalleth them, as the one dieth, so dieth the other. Yea, they all have one breath, so that a man hath no preeminence above a beast, for all is vanity. All go unto one place, all are of the dust, and all turn to dust again. Who knoweth the spirit of man that goeth upward, and the spirit of the beast that goeth downward to the earth? Wherefore I perceive that there is nothing better than that a man should rejoice in his own works, for that is his portion, for who shall bring him to see what shall be after him? So we are in a season. We are in a season of dying, and of learning, and of revealing, and letting go of this earth, and preparing for what is to come, and realizing that our works here, unless they are connected to the work of the Spirit and the soul, don't mean anything. And unless you lift your eyes to God, you're going to be sorely deceived, especially in these end times. So I pray that everyone keep your eyes looking up and asking for communication and guidance from the highest, from God Almighty, and that you have that peace that comes from knowing that connection, and knowing that whatever happens, your soul will be in the right place. I pray that for everyone. So until next time, I love you guys. Go in peace, and God bless, and good night.